Hi guys, welcome to my read long channel. Welcome back if you are returning. Today we are reading chapter 7 of Candyfloss by Jacqueline Wilson. I've just had a look and the next chapter is quite short, only 10 pages. This is Jacqueline Wilson's own work, just reading for entertainment and pleasure. So without further ado, let's get going. Chapter 7, Candyfloss. I started to hope that she'd really changed her mind. She'd stay in this country after all and forget about Australia. The next day she stopped all her frantic packing and consulted a solicitor. I wasn't allowed to go into his office with her. I had to stay in the reception room minding Tiger. He wouldn't stay on my lap. He prowled around on his hands and knees, his sticky hands scrabbling at all the leather-bound law books on the shelves. The receptionist tried cooing and clucking at him, but Tiger wasn't in a mood to be charmed. He was yelling his head off when Mum came out of the solicitor's office. She looked in a yelling mood too. If I'm going to hang around and let the court sort it out, she exploded the moment we got outside. We got the tickets, we're all set to go. We can't hang around now. Steve has got to start working at the Sydney branch this month. I can't let him go off on his own. He needs my support. And if I'm not careful, some silly young thing will bat her eyes at him and turn his head. What am I going to do? Mum glared at me as if it was all my fault. Why can't you just jump at this fantastic chance, Floss? I was mad to let you dictate to me. Look, you're coming with us, whether you like it or not. What are you going to do, Mum? Kidnap me? I'm a bit big to bundle under your arm. Are you going to stop to lock me in one of those suitcases? Stop being so cheeky, Mum said, giving me a shake. Will you stop bossing me about? Ouch, you're hurting. I've told you I'm not coming to stay with Dad. Why do you want to stay with him? I love him. More than you love me? I love you both, I said, crying. Mum, he needs me. So you care more about his feelings than mine? All right then, stay with him. I won't try and persuade you any more. Happy now? Mum snapped. Of course I wasn't happy, and neither was she. It was exhausting. It looked like we were going to be chopping and changing forever, best friends one day and snarling enemies the next. The day before Mum and Steve and Tiger flew off, we were all at 6s and 7s, and 8s and 9s and 10s. Mum and I were hugging one minute and shouting the next. But that night, Mum left Steve alone in his big bed, edged her way round the last of the packing cases and came and clambered into my single bed beside me. She held me tight and I nestled into her. Neither of us slept much. Mum told me stories about when I was a very little girl. I told Mum stories about what I planned to do when I was a big girl. We held on to each other, Mum's hands gripping my arms fiercely, as if she could never bear to let me go. Dad came to collect me in his van so that he could carry all my extra stuff. It's a big white van and I'd always loved riding in it, feeling so special strapped up high beside my dad. But I saw the way Steve shook his head at the dents and scratches on the paperwork. Dad saw too and must have minded, but he shook Steve's hand nevertheless and wished him luck with his new job. He patted Tiger on the head, then he gave Mum a great clumsy hug. Let's stay friends, Sal. I swear I'll take the greatest care of our Floss. You enjoy Australia and your new life, but don't forget to come back home, babe. Mum always twitched with irritation when Dad called her babe, but now she sniffed tearfully and give him a big hug back. I held my breath as my parents embraced. Maybe now, at the very last minute, they would realise that they really loved each other after all. Then Mum moved away and the moment was over. It was our turn to hug, Mum and me. We hugged and hugged and hugged. It hurt so much it seemed like I was making the biggest mistake of my life. I want you to have this, Floss, said Mum, handing me an envelope. It's an open airline ticket to Sydney. You can use it any time in the next 6 months. It will be strange travelling such a long way on your own, but the stewardess will look after you. Or of course you can change your mind now and come with us after all. I wanted to cling to Mum and say yes, 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 but I saw Dad's face. He was nodding and trying to smile. I couldn't say yes. I just shook my head sadly, but promised I'd take great care of the ticket. Dad opened the van door and Steve lifted me in. Mum gave me one last kiss, then we were driving away from my mum, my home and my whole family. I waved and waved and waved long after we turned the corner and were out of sight. Then I hunched down in my seat and my hands over my mouth to stop my sound coming out. It's okay to cry, darling. Cry as much as you want, said Dad. I know it must be so awful for you. You're going to miss your mum so. I'll miss her, in spite of everything, but she'll be coming back in 6 months, and the time will be simply whiz by. If I can only win the lottery, we'll both jet out to Sydney for a month's holiday, just like that. Yeah, if I could win the lottery, all our problems would be solved. Dad sighed heavily. I feel so bad, little Floss. I shouldn't have insisted you go with your mum. I want to be with you, Dad, I murmured, though I wasn't sure it was true now. We went back to the cafe, and Dad opened it and got the tea and coffee brewing. There wasn't much point. We had no customers at all, not even Billy the Chip or old Ron or Miss Davis. I might as well shut it up again. I doubt anyone will be in for lunchtime, if then, said Dad. Come on, kiddo, let's go out for a bit. What would you like to do? That was the trouble. I didn't really want to do anything. We mooched around the town for a bit, peering in some of the shops. There wasn't much point in getting excited about anything because I knew Dad didn't have any money. He tried to start up this game of what we'd buy if we won the lottery. I didn't feel like joining in much. I suppose your mum's Steve could buy you anything, any of this stuff with a flash of his credit card, Dad said. I don't want any of it. That's my girl. The simple things in life are best, eh? Dad said eagerly. Come on, let's go to the park and feed the ducks. You like that, don't you? I wondered if I was getting a bit too old for feeding the ducks, but we picked up a bag of stale sliced bread at the back of the cafe and trundled down to the park, even though it had started raining. It's only a spot of drizzle, said Dad. By the time we reached the duck pond, we were both wet through and shivering because we hadn't bothered with our proper coats. Still, though, nice weather for the ducks, said Dad. They were swimming round in circles, quacking away. While the ducks and ducklings, I threw them some bread, large chunks for mothers and dainty bite-sized morsels for the ducklings, but they seemed full to bursting already. There were large chunks of bread bobbing all around them, but they couldn't be bothered to open their bright beaks. They'd already had so many visitors, mothers and toddlers. Never mind, let's take the bread back home and make chip butties, eh, said Dad. 2 for you and 2 for me. Yum, yum in the tum. I wasn't listening properly. I was looking up at an aeroplane flying high in the sky, as small as a silver bird. Your mum won't be on her plane yet, Dad said softly. They aren't going to the airport till this evening. It's a night flight. I had mad thoughts about packing my case, running like crazy to Mum's and begging her to take me after all. Maybe that was why I was so fidgety when I got home. I heaved around on the sofa and I lolled around on the floor. I watched 10 minutes of one video, 5 of another. I read 2 pages of my book. I got out of my felt pens and started a drawing and then crumpled up the paper. I ended up rolling the pens all over the floor, flicking them moodily from one side of the room to the other. One went right under the sofa. I had to scramble for it with my fingers. I found little balls of fluff, some old crisps, a tissue, and a screwed-up letter. I opened it up, and I saw the word debt, and the word court, and the word bailiffs before Dad snatched it away. Hey, that's my letter, Floss, he said. He crumpled it up again, screwing it tighter and tighter in his hand until it was like a hard little bullet. What is it, Dad? Nothing, said Dad. But I thought it said... It was just a silly letter sent to try to scare me. It's not going to, okay, said Dad. Now you just forget all about it. There's a good girl. Come on, let's have our chip butties. Dad made 2 each and 1 for luck. I could eat only half of one, and that was a great big effort. It turned out Dad didn't have much appetite either. We looked at the chip butties left on the plate. It was as if Dad had made enough for both my families. I wasn't sure I could stand to be in this very small family of 2 now. I wasn't sure how we were going to manage. And that is the end of chapter 7, guys. So next time we come back, we'll be on chapter 8, which is on page 93. That is about, doing some maths now, about 16 pages at a rough guess from my poor maths after a tired long day at work. So thank you again for listening. I hope you're enjoying the story and the read-alongs. Really appreciate all the support. Until the next time, guys, goodbye.